That one's on me. All right, hold on. Oh God, something to my foot. Hey everybody, welcome to another special quarantine episode of Between Two Flames. I'm your host, Chris Kurzman, coming to you from my lovely bunker in the basement of my house. This time around, we're going to do something a little bit different. We've been asking some of our Flintsters for some stories of wonderful things that have happened with them or to them, or that they have noticed or seen over the last week. So the best thing that's happened to them this week. We're going to start off with Jess Hair, who is on our accounts team. Jess, go ahead and take it away. What's the best thing you saw this week?
The best thing I saw this week is a really fun, creative idea that a friend of mine had. She's got these beautiful windows, a French window style, and she put groupings of pieces of paper up on her window. And every day she turns over a selection. And throughout the course of the week, it reveals a message of positivity, like keep smiling or be the light. And her neighbors have all been weighing in, trying to guess what the phrase is and what the next phrase is. And it's really sparked in the neighborhood, and other people start doing the same thing. And there's one that I'm waiting for the reveal. It's 2, 3, 3, 4.
2, 3, 3, 4.
So we're waiting on that one.
You think that's like her PIN number?
It could be.
She's giving away her PIN number? That's going to make her neighbors ecstatic.
It really is spreading joy for everybody.
It's a 12 character number. I'm sure it's going to make lots of people really happy.
That's it. It's the credit card. It's just the credit card.
It's just the credit card number. Yeah.
Go treat yourself.
I'd be thrilled with that. I'm going to order all the things from Amazon.
That's right.
Next up, we have Katie Berncott with our media team. Katie, what was the best thing you saw this week?
Yeah, so this week I saw, because I follow all of my friends on Instagram, and for the All-In Challenge that the Fanatics is putting on, there's a whole bunch of different auctions and sweepstakes. And for friends, for the reboot episode, anybody that is donating gets put into a drawing for going for, or in the audience for live screening. Reese, get down, sorry. And you get to drink coffee at Central Perk studio with all of the friends.
Oh my gosh. They're going to be there for you.
Donated. Yes. Yes, they are.
So do you get to meet any of the friends if that happens?
Yeah, so you would be with all of them at the Central Perk stage, and it would be whoever wins plus 5 friends. So your 6 friends, those 6 friends, all sitting together.
That's great. And next up, we have our fearless leader, Flint President Jody Duncan. Jody, what's the best thing you saw this week?
I made my kids watch the miniseries from 1982, The Thornbirds. Amazing.
I'm not familiar with the Thornbirds. Please tell us more about it.
Well, it's a nice little tale about an ageless love story about a priest that falls in love with a young girl, and then they're in love forever for decades and decades and decades, all told in 4 short days of 2-hour miniseries.
Wow.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Your kids who are young and hip and modern, what did they think of this?
Well, they're a little too young and hip and modern. So initially they were appalled that the priest was in love with a 9-year-old girl, which now that I see it again, it's a little bit shocking.
Yeah, when you say it out loud, it's got some shock value.
Yeah, but for some reason back in the day, it was a big deal. It was like quite a love story. Now it seems a little illegal and horrible, but.
Is that British? seems British.
Well,
That seems like
it's
British.
it's set in Australia, on a sheep farm. It's a
Wow.
really complicated tale, Chris.
Next up, we have Libby Barr on our social team. Libby, what was your great moment from this last week?
So the best thing I saw this week was from my mom yesterday, actually. She's a para at an elementary school in West Fargo, and one of her students is a neighbor of my parents' house. Kind of the yard backs up to my parents' yard. And he made a poster that says, "Hello, Mrs. Barr," and hung it up on the back of the fence so she could see it through like the back kitchen window. And I'm sure she got really emotional and misses her students, and they miss going to school, and that's cute.
Oh, that's fantastic. How long has your mom been teaching?
Let's see, since I was in 3rd grade, she went back. I can't do math right now. It's been
like
a
10,
day.
5, 17 years. It's a this many years.
How old are you in 3rd grade? I don't even know.
Don't ask how old I was in 3rd grade.
Okay, if I was 8 in 3rd grade, I'm 22 now. A while.
I was born in North Dakota.
You count on my fingers quick.
Yeah. Somewhere between 5 and 30 years. Up next is Julie Visser with our account services team. Julie, what was the best thing you saw this week?
Well, since I've been going on lots of walks, I was walking by our local high school, and some seniors were all pulled up in their cars and just kind of having a little car party in the parking lot. And just kind of my heart goes out to all the seniors and all the high school students that don't get to finish their year together.
It's funny because I spent a fair amount of time in parking lots and cars as a senior in high school too, right? But at least I could get out of the car and like talk to people.
Yeah, and like, how do you communicate and talk about, I mean, I'm sure they just want to get out of their houses just like we all do. So maybe they're reminiscing on the times they had walking down the hallways, or I don't know, at their lockers.
Remember when we used to give each other high fives? Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the days, right?
Now it's like a honk on your car, like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Virtual high five, like okay, you got to give me a high five. Okay? Yes. Next up, we have Erin Simmons on our social team. Yeah, you're on the social team.
Sure,
He's
yeah.
on a team. Erin on our team. I should mention Erin is also director, producer, choreographer, key grip, and I think you also hire the extras for Between Two Flames, right?
That one time I had to be the choreographer was my favorite part of being with Between Two Flames. It was great.
Erin, what was the best thing that you saw this week?
There's this thing that's happening in the state of Minnesota, which I assume is happening elsewhere, but it's called #BeTheLightMN. Schools around the state, I think there's over 250 of them, are turning on their athletic field lights on Monday nights for 20 minutes, 20 seconds, 2 hours, anything that's kind of representative of the class of 2020. But there was one school I saw retweeted on my timeline, Woodbury, Minnesota, which is the southeast corner of the Twin Cities. They took it a step further, went away from the athletic field lights, and they put one single spotlight on a microphone and a stand at center stage of their auditorium. I was kind of reminded that, it's not just the athletes. It's the choir kids, it's the theater kids, it's the band kids. And I think about that not getting their last performance and not getting their last show or their last solo or their last ensemble. I picked up a guitar for the first time in January of my senior year, and with the sole purpose of playing and singing a solo at my senior concert in May. And I did it. I played in front of a few hundred people for the first time. I didn't tell a soul before I went on stage that I was learning guitar. And I think about the kid that was doing the same thing, or that was learning piano, or was generating enough courage to sing their first solo in their entire career, and they were planning on doing that at their spring concert, and they never get that chance. And I know I was hooked with music after that took place, and I know my life has changed completely since then. So thinking about that person that doesn't get that chance really kind of breaks my heart. And so seeing Woodbury High School represent the arts and show how important it is still in students' lives, that's why it's the best thing I saw. It was actually a couple weeks ago, but it's the best story I have, so I'm going to bring it up now. Chris, do you have something your favorite thing you saw this week?
I do have one thing that was pretty great. So my son, both my kids have been pretty glued to screens, both for school and just sort of overall entertainment purposes. My son, who's 5, kind of took a break from screens the other morning, and he sat and played with Legos all day. And then he walks into like my home office area, and he goes, "Papa, I made this." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And he's like, "It's a pirate ship." And he spends like 5 minutes telling me what's going on with this ship. And I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic. That's great." And then he goes, "Here you go." And I was like, "Anton, you play with that. That's your toy." And he's like, "No, it can be a decoration for your desk." So I'm leaving that on my desk as I work. That's the best thing I got this week.
Oh, that is awesome.
So that's all we have for today. If you saw something really cool, awesome, this last week, last month, or whatever, by all means, share a link or a photo or something down below and let us know about it, and let us know what cool things you have seen recently. So we'll kind of keep the good vibes going here. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.